It's already the 4th of September, and guys, I'm gonna be honest, I'm getting a little frustrated. I think what worked last month to get me all those parties booked is not working. And this time I even added an email in case people didn't check their text messages or they thought they was spam. So I sent out an email to everybody who I had an email address for who has ever ordered from me. I looked back at the email, I read it through, I even read it to you guys. I've gotten so there are basically analytics that are on our workstation whenever you send stuff through the email communication that lets you know how many were received, how many were returned, or undeliverable, and then how many people clicked. So there were some clicks. So it wasn't completely unsuccessful, but I don't have any parties booked for this month. So I need to figure out what I need to do. I sent out the text messages to everybody in my phone that I have in there as a Scentsy contact. And those are anybody that I've sent text messages to of thank you so much for your order. I did have a couple people ask some questions, and then I sent a response back and I hadn't heard back from them. So I'm not quite sure what to think about that because I don't want to tell myself that I'm doing it wrong, and I don't want to tell my and get down on myself for doing what I did last month and having the positive attitude. And I think this morning I woke up, and maybe it's because it's dreary outside, or maybe it has a little bit of the rain is affecting my mood. And I just feel like I would have heard something back. I checked my emails. Maybe I should check. Maybe while I'm on here, maybe I should check my workstation email to see if something got sent and I didn't get it. Sometimes that happens. Always look for the positive side, right? Well, maybe the email didn't actually come back to me. Let's see. Oh wait, not in this. I gotta remember. I think it's in communications homepage and sent emails. Okay, so that was from Cincy. That is an order. That is for my customers. That is for. Okay, so I haven't had anything that got sent back through Cincy that didn't come back to me. Um, so I'm not sure. I don't know. So I have to pivot. So if I'm not getting parties booked, I want to make sure that I'm still continuing with the sales that I got last week. And so that means I need to kind of like reevaluate what I've done or what I was doing. And, I've sent out the text message. See, that's where the whole thing is. I sent out the text messages. I think maybe I should follow up with my hosts that currently have links or we're finishing up their parties from last month that hadn't quite closed yet. Maybe I need to get back with them, get those closed out. I don't know. But sometimes that happens whenever you are working, like you have this goal, and then when it doesn't pan out, it's like, what do you do next? And that's kind of where I'm at. So I need to kind of figure out if my plan for the month of either booking parties, maybe this is the month that I need to pivot and I'm not worried about parties. Maybe I'm worried about recruiting. Maybe I need to have some of those conversations. I'm just not sure. I've learned to start following my gut on most of these because that way I know I know that I'm invested in that direction, and I'm not sure. I got two new teamies last month. One was purposeful. One I don't know who they were. I think they found me on the website. It was a new consultant, not a reinstatement, because I'll get reinstatements quite a bit. So I'm not sure. Well, I'm not sure what other path to do. I'm not sure what other path. Now, I'm not sitting bad for the month. So this is September. This is the 4th, September 4th. I'm at 312 for the month. Normally, I want to have about $100 a day or close because that way I would end up with about 3,000 for the month. I don't like beat myself up if I don't get 100 per day because sometimes somebody puts an order in or two or three people put an order in and that takes like 2 or 3 days worth of stuff. So I'm not overly worried about it. I know I do have one Scentsy Club going through this month of my own, and that one's just a whiff box. Let me see if I have other Scentsy clubs. These are other things to think about. So it's not always just about the customer's orders. It's also how many Scentsy clubs do you have going on. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me get my calculator up. We're going to kind of look to see. So we can look at view details and we can see how much their PRV would be. So pre-tax. So I'm just going to go off of pre-tax because there's nothing licensed in this one. All right, there's that. Let me go to the next one. I'm just trying to think of other possibilities of where I'm going to get PRV this month. So not only do you want to worry about parties, you also want to worry about, well, but there's shipping. So I need a -8 off of this. 8. So we take that minus discount. I think I got it right now. The next one, and that's of course if everybody's Scentsy Club runs through the month. So we'll add the full amount and -8. One more. All right. Total amount minus. Okay, so about 220 is going to be coming from my Scentsy Club. So that means I'm at 500. But again, that's spread out through the whole month. So I still need to worry about getting 2,000. So that's kind of, so those are the balances of getting stuff to work and then trying it again. If it doesn't work, it doesn't mean I'm not ever going to do it again. It just means it didn't work the month after. So I also need to think about that for my next round is if it's not working. But then again, it's a consistency. Some of these people I've never had full on conversations with, or maybe all they ever said was thank you after I said thank you so much for your order. They're like, you're welcome, or thanks, or maybe they didn't respond. And I did have a couple of people that responded back and told me to unsubscribe, which is fine. Because again, some of these people, I went all the way back to 2020. Anybody who had ever ordered from me at least once, I sent out the messages. So I'm okay with a couple of those people unsubscribing because I hadn't talked to them since like 2021, and I'm totally okay with that. So I don't really see those. I mean, those are no's, but those were not no's that I could rebuttal because they've either found another Scentsy consultant or in 2020 and 2021, it was so busy. I didn't really have, I mean, I always said thank you in some way, shape, or form, but I didn't ever follow up or follow through because I had so much going on. So that's all on me. I'm okay with those. So I'm not quite sure. So that's where I'm at. I'm unsure. I'm unmotivated to do more because I'm not sure what else I need to do. So that means I need to pivot. So I'm going to get some stuff scheduled up on my business page today. I'm going to get my stuff scheduled up on my personal page. I'm going to maybe go back through people that have commented or reacted and just kind of start some conversations. Maybe today is a social media day. So maybe today is I'm contacting or commenting back or commenting on other people's stuff more than I normally do to see if I can get some conversations started. Because again, I need to have conversations to have the parties booked or to even talk about recruiting. And so I need to start having more conversations with people that are not currently customers and not currently on my thing. And I know I need to up my Instagram game. So if you watched my podcast last night, that's one thing is that I want to work on is getting on Instagram. So I may be doing Instagram first and then scheduling up my posts on my social media on Facebook and then go back to Instagram. That may be what my goal focus is for Scentsy today. Now, I've talked about this multiple times. I only do my Scentsy maybe about 5 to 6 hours a week. So that's about less than an hour. I don't spend a long time unless I'm creating something. for me, that doesn't feel like working. That if I'm creating something or coming up with an idea, that doesn't feel like work to me. So maybe my hours are off. But when inspiration comes to me and maybe I'm on Facebook or I see somebody's post, I'm like, ooh, I really like that idea, and I try to create my own. It that to me doesn't feel like that's my Scentsy working. My Scentsy working is reaching out to customers. If I plan a whole bunch of scheduling, like I sit down and I'm not like I was going to do today, is sit down and plan some scheduling of some posts. That's part of my 5 to 6 hours. But the other in between is not really a scheduled working. I mean, me responding to customers if they send me a message and they want to place an order or they placed an order and I just say thank you. I don't calculate that in there because to me that doesn't feel like work. It's just what I do. It's so instinctual right now of responding back after I see an order's placed. So I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at, and it's a Wednesday. I don't have school today. And I'm like I said, the weather has me down, but my cat also woke me up at 4 something in the morning. So this day I've been up for a while, but I haven't really done anything. So I feel very unmotivated because I feel like I've been up for hours and I haven't done anything. But I know I needed to be, so I'm here in the office. Figured I would do this little video. I mean, my husband took the trash out, and I had to clean out the kitty litter. I hate doing that. But that's where I like. So that's kind of what my morning's been like. So some of you, may think like it's all glamorous all the time and it's always busy. It's not always busy. There are some downtimes, but it's what you do in those downtimes that will make a difference. So when I schedule my post today, the things I'm going to be looking for is stuff in the harvest that hasn't sold out. I'm going to start looking in some of the fall catalog of warmers that I haven't like looked at or seen, or maybe returning ones because that way I can find some really good pictures of them. So I'm just not quite sure. I'm in that in between of where do I do and where do I focus? Because if I don't have something to focus on, I get very unfocused and very distracted very easily. So that's probably what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make me a little list. I'm gonna be definitely going and scrolling through Instagram. But what I do is I put a timer. I give myself X amount of time depending on what I'm doing. So for this, if I need to build up my Instagram presence, it probably is going to be about 30, 45 minutes that I will have my timer going. And that way I'm being intentional. Like I only have so much time, so I need to get to it and focus on making some comments, reacting to other people's posts, and maybe sharing some stuff. I don't know. Like I need to figure out Instagram. And the only way to figure some of the stuff out is to do it yourself and fail. Because when you do it and you fail, you learn better than someone just telling you what to do. Right? Like how someone tries to prevent you from doing something stupid, but you do it anyways, but you learn more that way. And that's how I've always learned. So I can have someone teach me some of like the tips and tricks of like, make sure you do this, but they don't, it's not like I have someone over my shoulder walking me through it. So I know today maybe not be an aha moment, or maybe you got something out of today of just realizing that we are all human and we all have a different way of thinking or processing about our business. I used to try to do the themed days of like, oh, on Mondays, it's going to be motivational Mondays and this. But with school and then schoolwork, I don't ever know if I can do something on that particular day. Like if I had a test tomorrow, then today would be a whole day of studying. So I wouldn't be able to do whatever my Wednesday is. So that's kind of what you have to think about. You have to look through and decide what is priority. And if you have theme days and those work, then oh my gosh, I'm so glad for you. They just don't work for me. And again, that's the whole part about Scentsy business is being able to pick and choose what you want to do and how you want to do it and how the process goes. That's the thing. So I hope you guys enjoyed today. Maybe it's just a relaxed day, but I wanted to kind of just tell you guys where the fog's at, where the I don't knows are at. But that's what I got for you guys today. I am Cassie Bollinger. You guys are following me on my journey as I trudge through rebuilding my business, as I learn and grow my team, as I retrain myself on the ways that Scentsy was built to do, parties, having that social interaction, having that one-on-one communication, and getting better at it. I know how to do one-on-one communication, but I got to get better at it. Guys, we'll never be perfect because things will change all the time. If the cell phone companies went down and we had to start going back to Morse code or writing letters, then we would all find a way to communicate with other people. So you want to make sure that you stay up to date on what you can use. And if you love using emails, then use email. If you love texting, do texting. If you love making phone calls, make phone calls. You know, because you'll find your people. You'll find your people that love to actually hear someone's voice. That's what I got. I love you all. I hope you have a blessed Wednesday, and I will talk to you guys soon.